Ghana's Natural Forest Reserve has been one of its biggest natural resources. The country currently has 1.6 million hectares of forested land, which provides a huge source of livelihood for the more than 50% of the country's population who are into farming. But now, a real challenge with unsustainable farming and unpredictable weather conditions pose a threat to this resource. The result of this is vulnerable communities paying the price.
Almost every year, before we came in, almost every year, I can't recollect, when I was a kid, up to this time, 57 years, every year bush burns for Kisi and this type of survivor. People think that's where they can get some meat from the bush to make a living.
The country now is in a certain stage of losing biodiversity conservation. And the biodiversity is not only in the timber production and wildlife, but it is also in agriculture. We are losing millions of our indigenous species. And this means that we have to do something about our wildlife situation in the country.
One of the most prized forest resources in Ghana is on the Weto range of mountains, which borders the Volta and eastern regions of the country.
Our grandparents cultivated huge acres of cocoa farms, but due to the rampant bush burning, the acreage has reduced. All the cocoa got burnt. An NGO came to reintroduce the cocoa business as many years after that. So we are gradually getting back on.
In Saviepa, one of several communities located on this range of mountains. Once upon a time, it was a booming cocoa growing town. Now, it's a pale shadow of its former self. Raging bushfires and bad farming practices like burning have made the land less fertile and brought the cocoa growing business on its knees. The degrading forests and the loss of livelihoods of these farmers as a result is part of reasons why the Community Development and Knowledge Management for Satoyama initiative, COMDEKS project, was implemented. With funding from the Japanese government, the Global Environment Facility and the United Nations Development Programme, the project has touched lives in 36 communities over the last 7 years. Under COMDEKS, farmers in communities like Saviepa are working to restore what used to be their treasure.
In those days, we found it difficult to get access to the good seedlings and seed to plant. But by the help of Abdul and Jeff, the seedlings are always at your doorsteps. You only go to the farm and plant. And they've arranged with Ghana Cocoa Board. So every year they do supply us seedlings and fertilizer, which in those days is even difficult to get money to buy fertilizer for your cocoa.
The COMDEKS project has touched lives, and the people who have been involved bear witness. Take the farmers at Sanga, another beneficiary community, for example, who have, through their communal work, learned how to prepare their own organic fertilizer to help revitalize their farmlands.
We are using the chemical one, but actually, as for the chemical one, if you plant it, the crops will not last. It will take a few days, you collapse. So before they told us that we can do the organic one, they brought it a dustbin to take the dropping of the animals dropping. So we dig the hole and pour all of the dropping for inside. For 3 months after, we remove it and send it to the farm. We apply it from the crops. So we see that for the manure one, the crop is taking last more than the chemical one. So we know that the manure one is good more than the chemical one.
We also introduce them to apiculture, which one, it is able to maintain the environment because it prevents wildfire from getting in there. It also enables them to plant more trees to give a cover where the bees can thrive very well. So in a way, the beekeeping activities is helping to revive the vegetation. So with or without the project, this will go on because there's a huge market for honey and the farmers are producing to supply the market. Already they have some groups that are buying the honey and therefore it will continue.
The farmers in the Saviepe and Sanga communities are not alone. The work COMDEKS has done goes beyond just crops like cocoa and producing fertilizer. A big reason why the Wetu range has been destroyed is the burning of the bushes through hunting for meat in the wild.
From here right down to Chito, where we are doing this project, bush burning has cut down, has minimized, and hardly do they go and burn the bush now. Because people get their share from here. You come and take two, you go and rear, you also make your money on your own. So this is a breeding station for the societies around here.
COMDEKS promotes biodiversity, and so this project is also working with livestock farmers like those in the Bame community who are breeding pigs aside beekeeping and rabbit rearing to supplement the income that comes from their crop farms. The Amejope Mountains, standing at about 2,224 feet above sea level, is the highest point in Ghana habited by humans. Its beautiful landscape and a lush green forest, also part of a Wetu range, is at the mercy of unsustainable farming.
Amejope has been a tourist destination since time immemorial. Since I was very young, I can remember the white men coming now and again. Every time they come to Mountain Guinea and then they go back.
Made the women look very active.
Now, the Satoyama initiative is working with the community to tap into the tourism potential of the natural reserve here, whilst ensuring productive farming for the local farmers.
It's very important that we keep it open every time. We're not waiting for the government to come and do everything for us. So I try to mobilize the community so we can expand the tourist products in this area.
The project envisages that once people improve on farming methods with improved forest reserves, their income levels increase. But there is another hurdle. About 60% of Ghanaians, mainly rural dwellers like the farmers on the Wetu range, do not have a bank account. Access to credit draws many of them back, and that goes to affect their productivity.
Speaking here, we have 2 to 3 banks. We have commercial bank, we have rural bank. We have a mini rural bank next to Peking here, so it's about they are all about 2 miles away from us here. So this village banking system, we will say that is quicker for us. This one needs no application form, neither anything. You come to our meeting place and then your request is granted immediately once you have a guarantor.
So, under COMDEKS, farmer groups are now forming their own savings and small loans schemes. That is the story of the farmers at Peki.
Bank. If you take a kakere ba join group alone. 2 weeks let's see area, no poga ho. Ko de ke ma koko we ta fupepe mele mo. Amu guarantee ashira e tiere ni arabe le me ho e guy. E ba me benam me he fede do ni mele. Ta tukara de ke mele mo. E la chonam kaba u rural bank to. Me ko la atike ko wa me fa gbele me ba me the
work that the COMDEKS initiative has done in the Volta region goes to show the amount of change that could happen with community mobilization and the needed resources. About 2,694 households have been touched directly by this project. 43% are women household heads, who are mostly the economic backbones of families in Ghana. 1.5 million seedlings of assorted species have so far been planted with a survival rate of 85%. 21,500 hectares of land have been placed under natural regeneration. About 90% of the landscape has been kept out of wildfires through communal work and vigilance.
The district assembly has found that most of the interventions that were made were very viable, and therefore they are looking for ways of upscaling some of them. We are looking forward that within the next 4 or 5 years, the farmers will be able to continue with the initiative that the project has put in place.
As the project draws to a close, what will be crucial for the sustainability of the achievement would be how local government would continue to commit the required resources going forward.